All right, good evening. My name is Dele Ayimibo, and you're on to another edition of Import Export Platform Facebook Live, brought to you by Three Tempest Trade Academy. This is a program that educates listeners in various areas of international trade, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy yourself again this evening. Adesheun Adewole, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. We started discussing this morning understanding export market entry strategies. So this evening we are looking at part 2. And in the morning we've emphasized a lot on culture, and we talked about how vital and important culture is and how it affects business decisions, trade transactions, and the implication of culture, such that at the end of the day, my success in an export market is largely dependent on my understanding of the culture of that environment. Apart from the differences in culture that need to be well understood by international marketing manager, then we have the consumer need and wants. Consumer need and wants. There is need for a good understanding of the consumer needs and wants. What are the things that are very important for them in that environment? And the product you have, is it part of what they like to eat or to use, or they will likely buy? And how would they buy it? You know, we had a shipment, a particular good we normally ship to the UK, and even though it's packaged in about 500 grams, I'm being told that we need to reduce it to about 200 grams. Now that's the feedback from the market, the way the consumer wants it. Then economic level and structure. What kind of economy do they run? What's the level of income of the people in that space? What's the level of income? How much can they spend? How much disposable income do they even have? Those are the things you need to put into consideration. Then the market structure. Is it that you can set up easily there? Is it that you can reach out directly to the consumer? Is it that you must go through a middleman? How is the market in the export market structured? The channel of distribution. How will your good get to the final consumer? The ways of doing business, which is largely influenced by culture. Largely influenced by culture. And then the law and regulation. Any one of these differences can render a company approach to marketing to be ineffective. Violating any of these differences can make your marketing to become ineffective, can make all your effort not to yield the result. It'll be as if you are working and you are hitting against a brick wall because of inadequate understanding of how they function in that environment. Because of inadequate understanding of how they function in that environment. So it'll be as if you are hitting against a brick wall. Inadequate understanding of the environment, of the market environment, national market environment, can be counterproductive, such that it's like you actually want to go forward, but you're actually going backward. You know, when it's ineffective, you're not getting a result. But when it is counterproductive, that means the little result you are getting, your effort is also destroying that result. And then lastly, violation of the law. You might be making effort, and the way you are going about doing the business, you're actually violating their laws. For example, the way you're advertising might be violating the laws. These differences therefore require a careful and well-planned approach to entering and expanding in the international marketplace. So there must be a well-planned approach, very careful and well-planned approach to be able to expand and enter into the international marketplace. A well-planned approach. A well-planned approach. A well-planned approach. This is very important. This is very essential to have this kind of approach to entering into the international marketplace. And your planning is based on your understanding. Thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Your planning is based on your understanding. Your planning is based on your understanding. And that understanding is very critical to the success that you record in the international market. Very critical and very important. Marketing effectively to the foreign market and international environment require that the international market acquire a clear understanding of each target market, a clear understanding of the difference that exists, and what he has to do to accommodate the difference. Have a good understanding of the market. As a result of your good understanding of the market, you now have a good understanding of the differences between your local market and the export market. Oluwaseyi, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Having a good understanding of the market will help you to be able to find out the differences. There's something you will do in Nigeria you can't do abroad. There's a way you package your product in Nigeria that if you do it in the international market, nobody will buy the product. Have a good understanding of the market and the differences, and then what do you do to accommodate the differences? Because it's one thing to know there's a difference, it's another to have a good understanding of how to accommodate differences. If you want to enter that market, you must accommodate that differences. If you want to enter that market, you must find a way to accommodate the differences. And this is interesting about export, and that's why I'm talking about the fact that we need people to render services in this area, so that exporter will not be the one to do the research, but there will be individuals who have been trained acquiring skill. And this you can acquire through our diploma program from the American Institute of Extended Study. And you acquire this skill to be able to render this service, so that by the time an exporter says, I want to enter Togo, I want to enter Gabon, I want to enter Burkina Faso, I want to enter Liberia, you have research work to help them achieve that. So that means you don't necessarily have to export yourself, but you can render support services, reasonable, great, awesome support services to exporters, which is why we had a series we did on why you need to join the export team. We had a series on why you need to join and by what we mean by why you need to join the export team basically is to give you an insight into what needs to be done to be able to enjoy, to be able to render service rather, to exporter in Nigeria or to export yourself. Kemi Oladipo Adebayo, thank you very much for joining. Long time indeed. I've not seen you in a while. I hope all is well. Thank God you're back. And thank you very much for joining. Fortunately, there are a large amount of information available for virtually every market in the world. And that's the truth. Information are available. The question is, are you going to search for it? Someone said, information is free, but knowledge is expensive. Information is out there, knowledge is inside you, because you now know it. Information is out there, knowledge is inside you. Charles Obiora, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. So information is free and available, but knowledge is expensive. The cost of knowledge is the time you need to learn to be able to deliver on the service. So the fortunate thing is that information are available on how to go about it, such that entering the export market become a lot easier, because this seems to be a major, and that's why we're spending a lot of time trying to explain, this will be a major challenge for a lot of people wanting to go into the export space. Some people have this mindset and believe strongly that one of the major challenges they face is getting buyers. And I've come to say today and through this series that when you know what to do, you'll find it easy to get buyers. When you know what to do, you'll find it easy to get buyers. The reason why you're not finding it easy to get buyers is because you don't know what to do. But with this series now, you cannot have a compendium of information readily available for you, both on YouTube, on Facebook, on SoundCloud, for you to be able to know exactly what you need to do. The cost is the time to connect throughout this program. Remember, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. every evening, 8 a.m. every morning. We have this import-export platform and inviting people to join to be able to learn, so that you don't say, oh, my challenge is getting buyers. The challenge is not getting buyers. The challenge is understanding what you need to do to be able to attract buyers to yourself. There are facilitating organizations that can provide assistance in most aspects of marketing, though the effectiveness and cost may vary widely from country to country. So there are organizations that can help with marketing, this information on marketing. And I'm saying, if you are listening to me, you are not really interested, you love international trade, you love export, but you don't want to really export tangible goods. You feel you are a research-oriented person. You can then decide to focus on marketing research. You can decide to focus on marketing research. And on the basis of that, you research for people and look for market for them and sell your research work to them on Steel Bobo. Thank you very much for joining all the way from the UK. How are you this evening? So being able to have a good understanding of that is very important. And I'm saying why you need to join the export team. The fact that you can render support services to exporters regarding this area. Someone said, when you know what to do, you'll find it easier to get buyer. That's exactly what I'm saying, Kemi Oladipo. That's correct. When you know what to do. So the real issue is learning to know exactly what to do. And that seems to be a challenge for many, because generally in this part of the world, people despise knowledge. Chike Moldi, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. People tend to despise knowledge. And despising knowledge it has spelled doom for a lot of businesses. Because when you want to do anything, it's like you need light to be able to know how to go, which direction to go, not to avoid falling into the ditch. But people despise that light. So if people are complaining that, oh, I don't have money to do trading, okay? Now the trading is available free online. So let's look for other excuses that people will give of reason why they're not able to get buyers. There are facilitating organizations. 3D Better Academy can help you in facilitating, in achieving that, giving you information on your export market. You can do that research yourself. You can engage other agencies, other individuals, like we're trying to market, telling people to also do that on your behalf and do that for you. Adesha Adewale, thank you very much. I really appreciate the summary you are dropping there. That's very, very interesting. Thank you very much for the contribution. At least that becomes easy for people to be able to have access to afterwards. Companies providing assistance specifically for exporting and for legal and logistic aspects of importing are widely available, both in Nigeria and other parts of the world. Companies doing this, any kind of services are readily available. Now, let's look at some of the adjustments to be made in the export market. What I will do in this place is to read out. I will read out some businesses and the adjustment they made in entering some markets around the world. I will read out some businesses and the adjustments some of these businesses are to make in different markets around the world. In different markets around the world. The first one I will read is, I will be talking about is Kellogg's. By the way, export marketing manager must be ready to make necessary adjustments in export, necessary adjustment in export market in order to be successful. Some of the brief examples of adjustment that some companies have made in foreign market include the following. So look at this. Kellogg was required to produce 3 different formulations of cornflakes in European Union in order to meet the requirement of different member nations for minimum and maximum allowable amount of vitamin and mineral supplement in cereals. Now, when you are entering a space that have free trade agreements, that have a form of economic integration, you need to be careful, you need to be wise on the strategy you deploy. Ade Dayo Grace, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Nchedo Adeniran Richard, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Kellogg's wanted to enter into EU from the US. EU have 28 member countries. And when you enter, you can easily move your good around because it wants to target all the EU market. But remember, there are 28 countries and they have different vitamin requirements. different vitamin and mineral requirement in the product. So when he's entering to the market, he has to split his product or the product into 3 variants. Now, this is adjustments in the market. Now, that is showing commitment of Kellogg's to enter EU market. And one of the major challenge why some businesses fail in the export market is management does not have the will. The owners of the business do not have the management will to go into export market. In entering export market, sometimes you will have to make some changes, you will have to make some adjustments. And that's exactly what happened here. Changes and adjustments. Kellogg had to make this adjustment. Why? Kellogg was determined to enter the European market. So if you are trying to enter a particular market, you might need to make some adjustment on the product. Why? I just told you that even though we package the pap we ship to the UK in 500 grams, they are requesting for us to pack it in 250 grams. So it will be cheaper to buy. So we can get many people buying. If we are not prepared to make that adjustment, we will not be able to grow the volume. If we are not prepared to make that adjustment, so we are already working towards making that adjustment, hell, we won't be able to grow the volume. Why? That is what the market wants. In this case of Kellogg, it was a regulatory requirement. And Kellogg had no choice but to comply. Alternatively, Kellogg will look for another market outside. But he doesn't want to miss that market of the European Union. Look at another one, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, remember when we are talking about export, please note, export is not just a exporting product. Export, anything I do in a market to be able to bring money home. If it involves tangible goods, that is export of goods. If it involves intangible services, that will involve export of services. But sometimes I can actually go and set up in that market, sell in that market, and bring the purchasing power back to the capital in Nigeria. So Kentucky Fried Chicken launched a very successful joint venture entering into the Japanese market. Having its individual stores opening conform to what local businesses expected, and advertising its product based on the product high class and is heritage from the Colonel Sanders boyhood experience in kitchen of his home. To enter into Japanese market, Kentucky partner. You know, Kentucky have to produce in that market. So in entering into a market, I can export from my country, direct export, I produce, I ship it down. I can do what is called partnership kind of export. In partnership, I can have joint venture, I can have licensing, I can have franchising, I can have contract production under the partnership mode of export. Then the third mode of export is called the investment mode. So exporting have 3 modes. You can operate at 3 levels in exporting. First level is the export mode, where I produce in my country and ship it into the export market. The second level is the partnership mode, in which I go into the market to partner with someone in a joint venture, to partner with someone in a licensing arrangement, to partner with someone in a franchising arrangement, or partner with someone in a contracting arrangement, contract production arrangement. Or I go into the market, I set up my own structure completely, investment mode. So export mode, number 1. Partnership mode, number 2. Investment mode, number 3. These are the 3 modes of entry of different people into different markets. So you will notice from these 3 discussions, 3 examples, the most common one that many people tend to do when they are starting is the export mode. And that means that's why most of our discussion will be based on export mode. But we also refer to the other mode so that you will be looking at the future of the business beyond what you have right now. Avon enjoy a very successful and profitable entry into the Chinese market. However, the company suffered a major setback when a new law was passed that made its large tiered distribution system illegal. The distribution, when Avon entered into the Chinese market, it has a distribution system that eventually was affected by a regulation in that market. That basically means that while you are in a market and you are even started operating, you might have to make amendments to your product as a result of a new law in that market if you want to remain there. The initial entry of an American fast food company in a joint venture in Spanish market went very well. However, when the American partner proposed a major expansion, it failed to listen to a Spanish partner warning that this was not feasible because of a difference in the real estate market in Spain and because of the lack of adequate capital availability. After a serious dispute, the joint venture was dissolved, much to the disadvantage of the American company. Now, if you listen to me in the morning, you will remember I spoke about the American company. And I spoke about, I spoke about culture. I spoke about how culture influences what we do, how important and vital culture is to our business, to export business, and the fact that if you do not master culture, that will spell doom for the export business. And I remember talking about off-speedy.